Hi everybody, and welcome back to mistake number 10, and this is of course part of a series of videos that we're doing of 17 mistakes that most people make, and let's see whether you actually make this mistake, which is moving your stop loss. Something you should never do. Well, actually it depends. So let's discuss that, but before we start the video, please do make sure that you do hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and do that now, because you do not want to be making these mistakes. And I'm going to be sending these to you over the next few weeks and months. So please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Okay, so remember, mistake number 10 is moving your stop loss, because you don't want to get stopped out, which is what a stop loss is there for. So look, the stop loss, electronic order, which takes you out at a predetermined level, is one of the most important parts and an integral part of risk management, right? Because it puts a cap on the amount that you can lose. And so it allows you to limit your risk, which is the amount of money that you lose per trade, also known as risk management, which is the most important thing when it comes to trading, okay? And it's one of the worst things that you can do is to increase your risk by moving your stop loss down. In other words, when you're in looking to go up, you can't move your stop loss down. This has disastrous consequences. You could end up losing much more than you should be. Let's take an example, okay? Let's assume that you only intend to lose 1% of your account, okay? So let's say you have an account of 5,000. That means on every trade, you should only lose what? $50, okay? On 5,000. Okay, now let's say that you were looking at Apple, and let's say it's at $380. Now imagine that you've looked at Apple, okay, it's just an example, and you wanted to buy into this trade, and let's say you wanted to buy at, let's say, 380, whatever, dollars, okay? You have a stop loss at 377.5, okay? So that's your stop loss. So how much are you risking? You're risking 250. Would you agree? The difference between the two. Now, in order to only risk $50, remember $50 or 1%, we need to work out how many shares we're going to buy. So if we divide the account risk, 50, it's the maximum you want to risk, with the trade risk, which is 250, that will give us, so that divided by that will give us 20 shares. Does that make sense? Right, now let's just say that it actually comes down to here, okay, which is your stop loss, but you think it's going to go back up. So it's coming down, it's going to hit it, and you go, oh, do you know what? I'm going to, put it down. And I'm going to keep putting it down. And suddenly you're at like 350. You have just risked 5% of your entire account. You need to take the emotions out. This has got nothing to do with emotions. This is 377. That is when you have to get out, okay? Why? Because what's important here is that there's a reason that it's here. It's called a stop loss. Once it breaks below that, you could be in big trouble. And that is, unfortunately, one of the biggest reasons that people lose money, is they play around with this. And I'll give you, honestly, a concrete example of this Norwegian guy. We were in, was it Norwegian or Sweden? I think it could have been Sweden, actually. And we were doing this seminar, and this guy goes, and I started talking about a stop loss. And he goes, and I'm not going to do the accent. And he basically said, oh, now I understand what a stop loss is. I said, yeah, that's fantastic. He goes, yeah, because I was trading gold, and I was in gold, and it came down. I had my stop loss, okay, and it came down, and so I thought, oh no, and then I moved the stop loss down, and then it came down again. So I kept moving it down, like this, and it was, and I was always losing, and I didn't understand why, and it's just like, oh, and I was on the floor, creased up, because of course a stop loss is there, because if he would have gotten out here, he would have had a very small loss, right? Everybody else is losing. He would have gotten out here, but he didn't. He kept moving down the stop loss. What is the point of having this stop loss here if you're going to move it? Now, can you move it up? Yes, but that's something else, which we're not talking about here. So in other words, when you're in profit, can you keep moving the stop loss up to keep making more and more profits? Yes, but you never move it down. Obviously, if you're selling short, your stop loss is up here, okay? So then where can you not move it? Where? Let me ask Gabriella. Gabriella, where can you not move the stop loss? Yeah, you can't move it up, that's right. Because if it goes against you, you would be losing more and more and more, right? It's the opposite, right? Here, you can't move it down. When you're selling short, you can't move it up. But once you're in profit, you can move it down. Once you're more in profit, you can move it down to secure that profit. Remember, small losses, right? 1%, great. Big losses, bad, very, very bad. Even though you're like, yeah, but Marcus, I don't want to lose. Listen, losing is a major part of being a trader. You might want to write that down. Being wrong is a major part of being a trader. Let me just repeat that just so you really understand this. Both being wrong and losing are a major part of being a trader. You go, what? I thought we were making money. Yes, but losing small amounts, 1%, right? That's what you want to be doing so that when your big winners come, and that's the risk reward ratio, then you will make money. Okay, so make sure, you might want to watch this again, but make sure you understand that. You want to be taking small losses because then you know the big gains are coming. So you've got to change your mindset. That's why I always say 80% of success is mindset. So if you're just willing to remember, being wrong and losing is a major part of being a trader. I bet you didn't think that was the case. I hope you enjoyed this video. And make sure that you do hit that subscribe button because I would not want you to miss out on all the other mistakes because you don't want to be making those mistakes. You really don't. And I'm going to be sharing with you what mistakes to avoid. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I'd like to thank you in advance for just hitting that like button for me. I'd be most grateful if you did that. So if you could do that now, that would be great. The other thing is, listen, have you ever done this before? Like, have you ever moved your stop loss down? And if you have, come on, admit it. If you have, let us know. And then tell me what happened. Was it a good thing? So for example, you could move it down and you might be glad that you did it because you avoided the loss and then you made profits. But I'm willing to bet that if you did do that and it went down, then you made more of a loss. Now prove me wrong just by commenting below. So I look forward to seeing you on the next video, which of course is mistake number 11. See you there.